Sean Connery here, also known as Bond, James Bond. We're here with the weekly news. News on a Sunday? The date is November 21st, 2021. That's how you say it, Mike. You don't say the year twice, it just sounds silly. Anyhow, 2021 has been a crazy year. They're starting the Christmas music early. YouTube is hiding the dislike results. Huh. Taking all the fun out of disliking Mike's videos here. Anyhow, I'm going to be passing the news on to Mike. He knows absolutely nothing about archaeology, and even less about Transformers. He'll do better than Junior. And remember, we named the dog Indiana.
Thank you, Sean Connery. You're going to live on in the hearts and minds of all of your fans forever. Now, this week has been crazy. There's, of course, the Masterpiece Transformers news, the mainline Transformers news, and all of that good stuff. The Rancor might not get funded, and I have a lot to say about that. GameStop is fire selling their statues. Some of them, not all of them, but it's a pretty good sell. Ramen Toy is going to be shipping their 80s Commanders soon. I have the date on that. The Origins Castle Grayskulls are piling up at Targets. There's Batman and Joker variants I never knew about. Well, I just found out about. Maybe everyone's known for a while. And some fun mainline sightings. We're going to talk about all this and a lot more coming up. Alright, so let's talk about what's going on at Show Z. First of all, these Stomp, Sludge, Soar, the Dinobots that they have, the reissues, are $230 right now. So they were $300 everywhere. Now they're marked down to $230. So that's a pretty good price, pretty good value. And of course, if you're a premium member, you get all those rewards and all that stuff. Also at the same price there, we've got good old Robot Paradise Fancy Toys RP01 Acoustic Wave. And it looks to be pretty good. I don't have mine just yet. It's on the way. It's actually been shipped. It's on the way. But $230 also. And there's a lot of places charging a lot more than that. And a lot more places that are just out of stock. They're in stock right now at Show Z if you want to get in on it. So getting into some Masterpiece, of course, this is KFC Toys. We're going to start with them, work into X-Transbots. But the P-15 Grand Rajan, I think I'm saying that right. Anyway, this is the base figure. And of course, he's going to transform into the Power Master version. But he looks pretty good. And these are actual prototypes, not Ritters anymore. So when you see the real world work there, it looks really good. It looks really good. Like, this is as tall as, I believe, and on par with kind of the aesthetic and the size and the scale with an MP10 or MP44 and those kinds of things. So here's all powered up in the Power Master Prime version here, and that looks good. So it's kind of caught my eye. I do think this looks really good in real world form. I think some of this stuff looks even better than their renders. So I like that. I like how the colors look, and I bet you this thing has got a premium paint job to it for the most part. I don't think it's painted 100%, but I think it's painted pretty well overall, or it might just be a good reflective plastic there. Anyway, getting into a base mode, and it's got the base mode, and of course, the original toy had the base mode. I think this will be way easier to get to than the trailer for the Minosaur, which I think should have never had a base mode. So anyway, looking at this, looks pretty good. It's very reminiscent of the G1. So KFC also showing pictures of the medical bed for Optimus Prime, and this is interesting. It's kind of like, this is a medical bed. It's more like his deathbed, you know what I mean? Too soon? Too soon? It's been like 35 years, right? Anyhow, it does kind of open up like this, so you can do some other stuff with it. Pretty interesting, pretty cool. It's this prop stuff that can really make your displays pop and really center your displays around this kind of stuff. So me personally, I'm not so much in on this particular piece, but there are a few others out there. I know the Teletran one, that I think was X2 Toys or something, that thing is a big hit. I think this will be also. X-Transbot's been pretty busy showing off lots of pictures of their MX-31 Paragon as their Masterpiece Scale First Aid. And it's kind of interesting because there's a lot more questions that come out, but of course, there's questions and answers maybe at the same time. Here's the alt mode. I think it's a pretty good looking alt mode. Not bad at all, and it gets the job done. And I hope it's not too hard to get there. I see a lot of panel lines, a lot of things that flip and flap around there. Also, we have the arm. So it does make up an arm. And that's pretty cool too. So I mean, the way we can kind of see how it's going to go together, how it's going to work. It's going to be a fully independent arm on its own. I don't know if you have to add pieces to it. Well, yeah, you probably do. You probably have to clip the front and the back into some part and then clip on a hand. I'm okay with that, by the way. Parts forming on this thing, give me the parts. I don't want it to fall apart. Then we've got this. Okay, this is a medical bed also. Like KFC and X-Trans will have to do another medical bed. The weird thing is that this looks like a leg. Like this is going to be an add-on part for the leg. But it's supposed to go with the arm. Strange, interesting, cool. We'll see how it goes. And lastly, they're trying to save face with their... I don't know, I keep forgetting which one's which. Runabout, Runamuck. Anyway, the white dude. And the face sculpt looks pretty cool. It looks pretty interesting, actually. It actually does look like they did a pretty good job with it. So I kind of like how that looks. And, of course, pictures of their groove. So I think their groove is next. So we should be getting the groove, and then we get the first aid. I think that's the order that it's going to come. But we'll see. But the groove is closer to being done than the first aid. Still, all this set looks pretty good. I like everything that I've seen past Fuzz. So let's just not remember Fuzz and go forward. So staying in this same lane, Dreamstar Toys and their Superion coming out with the DST01, a picture of it in combined mode. And this is an actual prototype. This is not render. So, man, like in a third of the time that Fans Toys has been working on their combiner, and yeah, we've got a full prototype here. I do want to say that's probably all this company's working on right now. So it's like their main gig while Fans Toys is working on 15 different figures. So I will give that to Fans Toys, but only until Friday. Anyhow, I do want to say also how big this looks, but I wonder if they just look around the room and find the smallest person and be like, hey, you stand for the picture, because you make this thing look massive. And it does look massive. It is huge looking from this picture. So this past week, and it maybe been like longer than a week, people have been getting in their RoboSyn auto-transforming, fully functional everything. What's their version of Optimus Prime? And this is a blowout of all of the different parts. Now, I don't really see, I can't count them all, but there's a ton of parts in there. And it's interesting how much tech goes into this. And I think that's kind of why they made it the size they did. Because it really doesn't blend in size-wise or scale-wise with anything. It's so big, all of this stuff. Maybe one day they'll figure out how to make it all smaller, all the electronics smaller, and work at a small size. But they make it that big so it can hold up, and the parts are thicker, and all that kind of stuff. So I really think a lot of that went into account into this. But I'd like to see it smaller, like Masterpiece scale, 10-inch. That would be awesome. I'd love that. And maybe a little lower price, but it's very impressive. It is extremely impressive what they've done with it and the technology behind this. And it's just kind of hard to believe that here we are in 2021 having an auto-transforming Optimus Prime. But then again, it was hard to believe 3 years ago when we first started seeing the videos of it. So Collector Craft on Facebook, and I don't know much more, anything about this group of people. Obviously, they're 3D printing a Matrix for $130, and you got a plug there, you plug it in, it comes with the stand and all that kind of stuff, and it's nice. It's more of a showpiece than anything else. If you just kind of want it to be a standalone Matrix, if you want to stand there and hold it, those kinds of things. I don't think you do much else with it other than just display it, but you do kind of see how it is 3D printed, or appears to be 3D printed, but maybe I'm looking at it wrong. It looks cool. It's very interesting, and the price point I don't think is really that far off. I mean, I don't think it's a bad price point, $130 for a full-size Matrix, and you can put your fingers in it maybe. I don't know, depending on the size of your fingers. But it looks good, it looks cool. Very interesting. And I usually like to talk about statues when I talk about Masterpiece stuff. So looking at this, GameStop has these, and they're about Masterpiece scale. I didn't buy any of them yet. They're $25. Actually, this past week they were on sale for $21, but it seems like today they've reverted back to $25. But they were originally $50, so if you're in on these, just the Starscream and the Grimlock right now for Transformers are $25. If you're into Joe, Serpentor and Baroness, they're also $25. I actually picked the Serpentor up because I just really don't see a Serpentor coming around anytime soon, and you can just mix them in with your stuff. He can be massively bigger. In my mind, it works. It makes sense, I guess. But they look great. They look nice, but they are statues, and if you're used to action figures, they don't move. So, Legends news. I am a legend in my own mind, so I'm a legend. I think I'm. Oh wait, never mind. I'm talking about Legends Transformers. Okay, so Legends Transformers, the Iron Factory EX 49P, the Last Prophet Alpha Trion, should be coming into stock at your retailer of choice. I know that it's showing up at Show Z, so if you pre-ordered this guy, then look out for those pre-orders and get on top of it. Don't miss it. And yeah, Legends news is light. Everyone's celebrating this Delta Magnus figure from New Age. They call it Lusulu. Oh, I don't know. Lusululu. I don't know. It's a strange name. I can't really pronounce it right, but the paint just is amazing. It pops. It just looks so good. I'm on the fence on it. I might pick it up. Still don't know yet. I mean, I don't need to go that deep into Legends, but things like this are so tempting. Like when you look at it, you're like, man, that looks great. That is so tempting. Also, you look at it next to their Ultra Magnus, and you say, yeah, they both look great. They look good. New Age does good work, obviously. And so then we get to see this in the alt mode, and it's a nice looking alt mode too. So, like, all modes look great, and yeah, the thing looks solid. And yeah, I feel like I talk about it every week, but there's new pictures, new updates, and a lot of excitement surrounding this figure. I guess in Legends there's not much else going on right now. So let's talk about something else that could be kind of Legends. Josiah Toys, and I call it Josiah. It's Josiah Toys. Josiah. Anyways, this is a Mega Morph, and it's also like a thing. The thing. What's the thing with this thing? But here it is in alt mode, and it comes with a little thing to stick inside your thing. So pretty cool. Got a little buggy going on there. So I don't know if you'll ever be able to buy it or where you buy it or anything like that. But this is not a render anymore. They started doing actual prototypes. They actually make stuff. So pretty cool. One day they'll start showing up for pre-orders at places. So we've actually got some proper pictures this week of the Kingdom Blaster, and I still think it looks pretty good. And this is something that I've heard people talking about all week, is the translucent, is it eject or rewind, whichever one he comes with. But the translucent version of him, why is he translucent? And I have no idea. But then again, it's different than what they've been doing with the rest of them. And really, I kind of think that, like, shouldn't there be some sort of a swivel on that lower leg and just turn it and make it look right? Is that mistransformed? Because that looks wrong. Turn that if you can. And then same with the forearms. Like, they look wrong, but can you turn them? Or is that super rudimentary? So we'll find out when we get them. Still, I think it looks pretty good. It's right in line with what they've been giving us. So I'm pretty happy with it. Next up, we got actual pictures of Blue Huffer. The official pictures of Blue Huffer. And packaging and a card that he's going to come with and all this kind of stuff. So, yeah, I remember that's like a thing. The card. I have to admit, I haven't opened all of these myself. I have them, but I've opened a few, reviewed a few, and that kind of stuff. But I think it's a pretty good mold. The Huffer looks pretty good, and the pipes looks pretty good. So that works. And I like this Autobot Slammer, though. It's kind of one of those things that is a Titan companion. And although the companion pieces to those sets were already packed in the vintage era, and a lot of people feel they should be packed in with Titans these days, it's just nice that they're doing it. This is kind of a retcon, so they are going back and making it for... They're saying this is supposed to be a companion with your 30th anniversary Generations one from like 2012 or something like that. Has that been a decade ago? I think it's a precursor that one day we'll actually still eventually get a G1, a proper G1 Metroplex, but we'll find out. So it looks like we've got some pictures of the premium paint finish version of Optimus Prime, and this is I think this is the Bumblebee movie version. I got one of these pre-ordered at TF Source. They say it's on the way. They actually sent me an email saying it's on the way, but it's not in stock yet. So anyhow, it looks pretty cool. The one on the left is a premium version. The one on the right is the standard one. But even though they're the same mold, the premium version is actually the best Transformer ever made by Hasbro ever. Under any circumstances, this just blows everything else away. And it's amazing that these are even the same mold, because it's so good. So that's good news to know. That's good information to have. I'm excited for mine that's coming in. And I do like the alt mode. It looks pretty solid. It matches the movie really well. Here's the thing. This is $55. And I don't think they were $55 when they first released them. So they are capitalizing on... They're capitalizing on the people who missed the first run, because the first run one was pushing $100. So anyhow, it does look nice. Prime sell. If you're in on it, you might as well get it before these sell out and go to $100. So anyway, another picture of another figure that's the best version ever made. I think he's right. Whoever's saying all this, that that this is the best figure ever made. I actually think this is the best Perceptor Hasbro's ever put out from the pictures. I haven't handled it yet, of course, because they haven't released it in my neighborhood yet, so I won't get mine until probably like sometime in 2022. And then I might do a review, I might not. Anyway, looking at this lineup, this looks really good. I really personally like what Hasbro's done with the Studio Series, what Hasbro's done with the Kingdom and all of that. They're going in the right direction. It's looking really good. But note that RC in there, that's the 30th anniversary Generations. Still better than the new RC. So I don't really talk much about Cyberverse, but I see some of these concept art of Trypticon. There's a couple of other pictures here, but I think the Trypticon looks really good in this, and it looks a lot like a G1 Trypticon, and it's in the Cyberverse. And so I don't really keep up with the show, and so I really am not informed on it. I just think that these look pretty good, and I don't really feel like these renders really match the toys so much. So I'm just going to come out there and say I must be missing something, because the swoop that I saw on the toy aisle looks nothing like this. Looks absolutely nothing like this. And I'm kind of a swoop fan, so, I mean, is this swoop, or is this someone else? Is this like a female swoop? Maybe I'm missing it, but anyhow, I am kind of excited about some of the things. If Cyberverse were to match these 100%, I'd be excited about that. So we got some different running shoes that are going to be coming out. They're going to be available. The Megatron and Optimus Prime running shoes. So anyway, this looks pretty cool. It's got a light up stuff on it. It's interesting. I'm not sure about pricing or availability just yet, but they also have some decals on the bottom of it. And I think a lot of sneaker collectors are going to keep the sneakers and not wear them. And maybe if they come with a figure, yeah, that's kind of cool too, right? So yeah, I don't know. I know that there were sneakers that came with figures. I don't know if these do or not, but it's still a pretty cool idea. It's cool it's out there. It's interesting. So they also have the Transformers X Aikido movie 1986 high tops trainers, and they're interesting. They look super retro 80s. They almost look like you're wearing a pair of Chucks. You know the Chucks, the Converse and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, pretty cool. Now these are about $50, something like that, and you can get them on Zavvi. So there it is. As for the other ones, I mean, you can order them in China, but I'm not sure where. Cool stuff if you're into sneakers. So if you're not into sneakers, then you might be into pillows. Yeah, these are pretty interesting. It's a giant Unicron plush that you could use as a pillow or whatever you want to use it for, but kind of an interesting deal there. I'm not really sure what's going on with that, but for $40, you could get a Unicron pillow plush. So before I get into Star Wars and what's going on over there, there's a handful of things I want to talk about. Starting with Ramen Toy, they're going to be shipping this is the Naval Commander, and they're going to be shipping, my entire order should be ready to go on the 22nd, or around the week of the 22nd. That's what they were telling me, and so I'm excited for that. I've got 2 of each of these ordered, and I look forward to getting them, and of course doing a full-on review with all of them and all colored and everything like that. The finished final product. I'm really excited to see this come to fruition. So if you want to get yours, you can still order them through ramentoy.com. Here they are packaged up, and it's also fun because Ace with Ramen Toy has kept us along the way for this ride, for this journey. We've got to not just buy Centurions, we've got to watch every step of the process on how to make an action figure. So that has been really fun to watch. It's been really enjoyable to be part of this. It is a bit of part of history, so I like it. I'm excited for it, so I look forward to it. So I want to say, if you really have paid any attention to Target and their electronics section, you're going to see that they have a whole line of McFarlane 1966 Batman stuff, which I'm really kind of excited for, which I never thought I'd get this excited for it. What's making me excited for it is a price point. Now, the Batcave's $30, the Batmobile's $30, and then the figures are $18 a piece, which is a very good price point for 2021, and I have to hand it to McFarlane for doing that. Good job, Todd. Good job, Todd. But one thing I didn't know is that there are variants. So I'm actually considering opening up a set of these and making a display, and I really think the Batcave's going to be cool and all that kind of stuff. And with that, I started looking at a couple of videos, but All Things 80s, that's a channel. The guy is a pretty cool dude, and he actually pointed out that there are variants of these, and I've been going to Target, and I see an ocean of them, and I don't even look to find the variant because I didn't know it. Now I kind of want them If I find them, I get them. If I don't, I don't. But it's interesting. So now that you know they're out there, you can look for them. But basically, you get a masked Joker and an unmasked Robin as the variant. Lots of fun. All they really did is swap the head out. And with the price point, it's not that expensive or hard to track down. And I would like to see a few more characters in this line. I'd like to support the line so it goes a little bit further. I also want to play a little game today. Can you count how many Castle Grayskulls there are in this picture? That's a lot, right? 14 of these bad boys are crammed on this shelf. Now, this is insane. And I've been to 4 or 5 targets that don't even have one. But then this target has 14. Nothing really makes sense at retail these days. And when you see this, it blows your mind. And people were paying over $200 for this over the summer before they started showing up at retail and showing up at the online retailers. Like at Walmart, they almost went to clearance right away. Like they hit the shelf in Lego with the clearance. Nothing makes sense at retail these days. So getting into Star Wars with a little bit of roundup news that I'm seeing around, we actually see remnants of the waves. We don't see waves show up. We see remnants of waves. But the newest archive wave is showing up, and as I guessed, the peg warmer that hangs there for days, if not forever, is Leia, who's been reissued multiple times, and people that have been collecting for a while have several of her. People who just started collecting go buy them for $10 on eBay. Well, they've got her, and she's just going to sit. But, you know, it's one of those things, bad decisions from Hasbro because they're just out of touch, I guess. And then you're not seeing it here, but behind one of the Star Wars Black Series, that's a figure. That's another Lando back behind there. You can't see him because he's hidden, but he's a remnant. When you see Lando, the General Lando, he's a remnant of the new wave. Everything else sold out. And by the way, that Lando, that General Lando, that's a good figure. And here's a picture of figures I've never seen at retail, probably will never see at retail, and they're on clearance. Wow, that's crazy, but there it is. So I understand this is a Target also, so there you go. Check your Target end caps for stuff that arrives on clearance. And Cobb Vanth is starting to show up. Cobb Vanth is starting to show up. Anyway, it's sort of a Boba Fett, Mandalorian overkill with all of these figures that are coming out, but yet they still sell. They sell, and they sell well. And I think that with this particular character, he's so different, and kind of the story arc that he carried is different and unexpected, and it's kind of cool. And I think they made him look skinnier than any other Boba Fett also, so that works. I was wondering how they'd make his armor look bigger. It sort of a little bit looks like that, not a lot looks like that, but still, in a way, I think they did the character justice, they did it right, and he does look to be taller than the average one, so I might be wrong. I don't know, maybe they're the same size. But the Mandalorian himself was a pretty tall guy too, so anyway, nice looking addition, and it seems like it's going to be, I think this character will be one that's one and done. Like they make him, and then they're done. And they have some shared parts, so it's not really a big loss or anything. But then again, I could be wrong again, because they're doing that with some of the Gaming Greats characters they're bringing back also. So we got a picture here. I guess this is from Return of the Nerd Star Wars. Okay. This is the packaging of Droids Boba Fett. And I did pre-order this. I missed out on the Vintage Collection one, but I usually catch the Vintage Collection stuff. But then again, I don't know if I'll catch it, but I'll try. Do or do not. Okay, I will catch it, Yoda. I'm sorry. Looking at this guy, though, I mean, it's interesting. It's, you know, it's pretty cool because we haven't had a Boba Fett figure in so long, or any iteration of any Mandalorian. Oh, okay. But I did pre-order him, so I guess it's my fault. So anyway, if you're tired of talking about Boba Fett, let's talk about Vintage Collection. And so in the Vintage Collection, there's another Boba Fett. Something just stops being special when it's everywhere, you know? If you got a Boba Fett, he was special because he was that kind of cool dude that talked for 3 lines or 15 lines or something, 15 minutes of some showtime in the whole series. And now there are 85 figures, so still, I can't lie, I'm excited for him. I'd get him and put him with my Vintage Droids collection because I never scored this guy in the Vintage line. And I want to say the rest of them, I like the idea they're doing it. I think they should do them all. But see, I don't think there's a big enough market for all of the more obscure characters. It's just the popular ones. Of course, they will sell well. So why not do them all? Well, that might be a HasLab project. That'd be a better HasLab project than what they're putting out right now. So did somebody say HasLab? Yeah, they said HasLab. The Rancor itself looks good. They put out colored shots, colored prototype. And he does look great as a Rancor. He's huge. He's massive. I actually have a spot specifically where he'd fit 17... I think I have 21 inches on that shelf. So he'd fit just right. And it looked good. It looked great. All of that. But I don't think the Rancor is worth more than $200. Like, I think it's a $200 item. And if they were to put it out at retail, they could put it out at retail for $200. I really do think they could do that. What makes it $350 is when you add in these tiers. The extra add-ons. And of course, it started with the Gamorrean Guard and all that stuff. But this week they revealed the rest of the tiers, and it brought fans to tears. I guess there was a lot of sobbing when they were canceling their pre-orders. They unfunded or unbacked the HasLab project for the Rancor because they didn't like the tiers. So first off, I was like the only idiot that thought, oh, the Gamorrean Guard is a sign of good things to come. We got the cheap one out of the way and all the good stuff was all coming at the end. And I was wrong. So then the next tier we got some bones at $13,500 and a backdrop, which the backdrop looks pretty cool. I mean, it's cool, but it's not going to sell the thing. And then at $16,000 you get a Salacious Crumb, which is actually something you can buy right now. You can buy the Salacious Crumb right now, that pretty much the exact same figure, on StarWarsShop.com, shopstarwars.com, and they have a creature set, and you can get it in there. It's just not going to have the card back. And then they released the reveal of Tier 4 19,000 backers to get a Jedi Luke. But here's the thing. All new sculpt or whatever, the one they just had at Walmart was a decent one. So it's like, why are we doing this? Where is Ula? And where is Rancor Keeper? Are they planning a Rancor Keeper for the main line? Probably. But who knows what's going on, what they're thinking. They lost about 400 backers in a day, and it just keeps plummeting. This might not get backed, but the Rancor might hang out with Cookie Monster. I'm going to talk more about this and make another video down the road because, yeah, it's not looking good. 16 days, and they're going backwards. They're losing. They're only halfway there to even get funded. So anyway, let me know what you think about this week's weekly news and review. What else is going on out there that is really fun, awesome, and cool? I'd like to know. What did I miss this past week? Teddy Hanger out.